Hey guys, well, 2014 is just about over, so it's only fitting that I end the year by doing a Best Horror Movies 2014 list, much like last year when I did a Best Horror Movies 2013 list. Well, I'm gonna start by saying that 2014 was not 2013 to horror movies because like 2013 was just an amazing year for horror movies. I mean, we've had like movies like Conjuring, Insidious Chapter 2, Evil Dead, like, list goes on. And I only hated one horror movie that I saw last year, which was Last Exorcism Part 2. But this year, on the other hand, was not that good of a year for horror movies because we had, like, more than one horror movie I hated. Movies like Devil's Due, Ouija, Leprechaun Origins. Yeah, so there was more than one. Now, I'm not saying that 2014 was a bad year for horror movies. This wasn't a particularly good year, though. Like, like on the other hand, 2014 was more of a good year for sequels because we had sequels such as like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, 22 Jump Street, Captain America: Winter Soldier, and X-Men: Days of Futures Past. So 2014 was not the horror movie year. 2014 was the sequel year. But like, despite that, 2014 was not as good as a year for horror movies. There was some good horror movies though, so I thought maybe I would show, like, this is my opinion though. So I was gonna say it's my opinion since I know that some of these movies weren't all that well received by critics, by moviegoers. But personally, I liked most of these, and I do have like a separate list in this video, which only consists of three movies though, which are like horror movies that I thought were okay. I mean, they were average horror movies. They were good, but weren't good enough to make the list. Like, they weren't bad. They just weren't all that good. And so, without further ado, let's just get started on this. Okay. First one I chose was Stage Fright. So this was a pretty good horror comedy, which and a musical as well. So, and heck, it says right here, cross between Glee and Sleepaway Camp, which drew me to the movie, knowing that I'm a huge Sleepaway Camp fan. I mean, I just really liked the camp setting since, like I said, huge Sleepaway Camp fan. I also liked how I also liked the killer's mask as well. It was pretty creepy looking, and I liked how like when it was trying to be like serious, it was pretty serious. And it was trying to be funny, it was pretty funny. So yeah, so I liked that mix. Yeah, this was a pretty good movie. Next one I chose. This one's gotten like basically mixed reviews, but personally I did like it, and it's the Quiet Ones. I mean, I liked how this one it wasn't like your typical exorcism movie. It was because it wasn't like they're trying to get this demon out of this girl through like religious stuff. They didn't hire a priest to do an exorcism. They were trying to like unpossess her with science. So I like that whole thing. And the possessed girl is played by Olivia Cooke from Bates Motel. She was also in Ouija. But like I said, didn't like that movie though. It was made by Hammer too, which it's a company I actually like. So I also really liked the atmosphere as well. But there's times it was pretty slow though, and did have some bad CGI stuff in it. So I can see some downfalls with that. So yeah, it was pretty good. This one I kind of hesitate to put on my list because because I know there's people who don't like this one, but I did like it though, and it's The Sacrament, a movie directed by Ty West, who I'm a huge fan of, and produced by Eli Roth, also a huge fan of. And I just liked the setting of this movie, how it's like set in like this jungle, and I also like the story about like this guy's sister is living at this pacifist community, and so they go there to make a documentary about it, only to find out it's not what they think it is. I also did like the last like half hour of the movie where like things just really picked up. So yeah, so I really liked this movie too. Another one I chose is Cabin Fever Patient Zero. You probably knew this was going to be on it because I mentioned it in my review on this movie. I mean, I just thought this was better than Cabin Fever 2. I just liked how they like returned it back to its like serious roots, even though there was still comedy in it. I also liked how it was set on this this island in the Dominican Republic, and I liked the gore effects, all the makeup, the special effects for like The Virus was pretty good. I also liked how Sean Astin was in this. He plays Patient Zero, the carrier of the virus who's immune to it. So he's pretty good in it. And this one is kind of like a mixed thing as well. Like, the funny thing was, like, before this movie was released, it was shown at film festivals. People were like, "Oh my god, that was good." But then, like, when it came out on Blu-ray, people were like, "Oh, that was the worst one in the series." I know, I did like this movie, but didn't love it though. Like, it's Wrong Turn 6, Last Resort. Like, I did like this, but didn't love it, like I just said. Because, like, in the middle it got kind of boring, and also had like too much sex scenes in it as well. It didn't really focus on like why we actually want to see this. We want to see like the mutant hillbilly cannibals like just kill people in this movie. But when they do kill people, the scenes are all good, and like the last half hour of the movie really did pick up as well. I liked the death scenes. I liked the acting. I liked the dialogue. And I did like the look of the hotel in this movie, that this movie's set in, so it was, yeah, so I liked it, though. But like I said, I did love it, though. And another one, this was a sequel, it's See No Evil 2. I liked the first See No Evil, but I liked this one more, because this one had better acting, better characters than the first movie. I also liked how Kane returned in this one, even though it didn't really explain how he survived his the way when he got killed in the first movie, getting the pipe through the eye and falling like, I don't know, like 50 stories high. So they didn't explain how he just survived. He just randomly came back from the dead. But this one had better acting, and I also thought the death scenes were pretty creative in this one. I wish it was a little more gory though, because the first one just went all out with gore. I was hoping this one would have done it too. But I did like the emotional depth for the characters as well. So like we got to actually connect with these characters. So this is pretty good. Another one I liked, it's also a sequel, is The Purge: Anarchy. This was better than the first Purge movie, because I just really liked how they expanded on the Purge, like showed the Purge from the outside, because the first movie was like self-contained, all set in one house. But I still liked the first movie though. I just really liked all the mayhem, I liked all the action in this movie, the suspense. It was also really cool. I also did like how it was like 3 stories in this movie. I liked all the characters. So this was pretty good. I will say though, the characters were a little underdeveloped though. They could have given them a little more story. But other than that, it was pretty good. Another one was Deliver Us from Evil. I'm going to admit, when I first saw this, I didn't care too much. I thought it was okay, but it grew on me afterwards, though. This movie was pretty good. It had, I liked the atmosphere, the darkness of this movie. And Eric Bana was also pretty good. His acting was good. But he's a good actor in general. I also like the creepy imagery of this movie. So they weren't really trying to, scare you with gore or anything like that. They were trying to scare you with, the images of this movie. And the exorcism scene at the end of this movie was just really cool. It was just a real intense part of the movie that basically kept you on the edge of your seat. Very well done exorcism scene. Another one I got is Wolf Creek 2. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this one as much as they liked the first movie. I did like the first movie, but I found it a little bit boring, so I did like this one more. Because, I just liked how this one was a little more brutal than the first movie. I liked how they got the actor who played Mick Jagger from the first movie back. And I really did like the car chase in this one. It was just really intense, really kept me at the edge of my seat. So I also did like how when he was torturing the guy at the end. So this was a pretty good movie. And this one's got a bit of a mixed response. I did like this movie, but I know people who hated the movie. I know people who liked the movie. But personally, I liked this movie. And I saw this movie on its first day, like I saw all the other movies in the series. And it's Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. Well, this one's not the best in the series, and it's not the scariest either. But, this one had the best acting. All the actors in this movie were really good. And even though, some of the scares were, They did have jump scares in this movie, which were kind of weak, but not all the scares were jump scares though. Like they still had like these kind of like these subtlety scares, like they were working in the scare, like you're about to like think, oh, here comes the scare. Is it coming? Is it coming? Oh, maybe not. Oh, wait. Is it coming? Oh, maybe not. Oh, is it coming? And boom! Oh, there it is. Yeah, so, and I really did also like the ending of this movie, which a lot of people are like claiming doesn't make any sense. I don't really get how does it not make sense? Guess you didn't pay attention in this movie. I paid attention, so I understood the ending. I'm not going to explain what it is though, because maybe there's people who didn't see this one and want to see it. So, if you want me to explain it, comment down there. I'll explain it. I also did like this part where this guy was like shooting these cult members with a shotgun. Yeah, that was pretty good. And I liked their connections, like, because you're thinking maybe this is just a standalone Paranormal Activity movie, but no, it's connected to the series. And another one, sequel I liked more than the first one, Dead Snow 2, Red vs. Dead. Yeah, I liked how this one picked up where the first movie ended, like the second where the first movie ended. This one picks right up right over there. I also did like this one had like a bigger budget, so it was like basically like this whole war with all these zombies towards the end. And I also liked the gore effects, because it wasn't all just CGI, like they had some practical stuff and they only used CGI when they needed it. So that's actually smart thinking. I also liked the characters because they were very fun, like especially these three geek characters. I can relate. So like, you know, all the characters are very fun. It was just all out really just a fun, enjoyable time watching this movie. So I really recommend this one. Another one is Oculus. Like this was a pretty good movie. This was done by the WWE as well, and this is their best movie so far because they haven't done that many good movies. There were some good movies here and there that they've done, but not many though. This was their best though. I just really liked the story in this one. I was like this mirror that's basically possessed people. Like I also like the story of like this brother and sister who went through like all like creepy stuff, like their parents, like the mirror was like messing with their parents, and so then like skips years later, and like when they're older, they go back to their house where it all began, bringing that mirror back to destroy it, but the mirror starts messing with them. And I also liked how it didn't end the way you think it was about to end, like you think it's about to end like this way, but ends the opposite. So it wasn't a typical ending. Yeah, so I also did like the creepy imagery and the atmosphere as well, so gotta add that as well, so it's definitely good. And now the last two movies, they're not on Blu-ray, so I decided to print out these posters for them. And next one is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I just really liked how this was like remake and a sequel at the same time, because it's like, you know, basically about like this guy who sees the original Town That Dreaded Sundown and basically gets inspired to become the Phantom Killer. And so I also do like the look of this movie. I was like an artistic look they gave it, like the setting, like making it have like that kind of like that 50s feel to it, but set in modern days though. I also do like the deaths in this one. I wasn't too big of a fan how we found out who the killer was in this one though, because we didn't find out in the original movie. But of course, like I do like how like the twist is something that you didn't see coming though. So yeah, so this was definitely a good sequel slash remake slash reboot. So yeah, so I think that's really all I gotta say. Check this one out. And now this is the best horror movie of 2014. Can I get a drum roll? It's The Babadook. Now this was a general scary movie right here. It's this year's Conjuring. Like it's I really loved the atmosphere. This is all atmosphere, no jump scares, which was great. Because like jump scares just get old, even though I can understand they're the easiest scares to do. Yeah, but I mean, I just really liked the atmosphere, the darkness of this movie, and like the acting in this movie was really good. Even though like the main little boy in this movie was just really annoying because couldn't really stop. I was going, it's like, so he was just really annoying. But the actress who played his mother was really good. And even though that boy was annoying, like he really did put up a really good fight with the Babadook towards the end of the movie. Like I just really loved also the suspense. Like since I just mentioned atmosphere, I really like the suspense as well. As and like the Babadook, like when he's shown, he's just generally very creepy looking. Like this black hat, black coat, long fingers, pale face, really creepy looking. And also like the scenes where he was like levitating when he was like, also when he was like showing the background was pretty creepy as well. This movie would probably make you not want to sleep after seeing this. So yeah, this is like the best horror movie of this year. Worth checking out. And I wish I saw it in the theater, but unfortunately it didn't come out in the theater by me. I saw it on demand. And I think that's really all I gotta say about this one. So, but now, this video's not over yet, so there's those 3 movies that I wish I could put on this list. So, gonna like show the ones that I wish I could put on this list, because these movies, like I said, were not bad, but they weren't good either. There's the first one is As Above, So Below. Like this was I like the concept of this movie of them like going into the Paris catacombs, but they end up like by the gates of hell. So it was a pretty good concept, but like I just didn't really like the shaky cam thing. Like it made me pretty woozy when I saw this, and also like the camera thing was like all over the place. Like you didn't know who was filming at times, and and also like I didn't really like this part where like she knocks down like this demon, because like it made the demons look pretty weak. But I did like they had this whole thing that they were like living their greatest fears, like although that's been done in other stuff though. But I mean I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't good enough to make this list. And another one that I thought was decent but wasn't good enough to make this list was VHS Viral. I mean, because I really like the first 2 VHSs. I mean, especially the second one. I put that one on my list of last year's best horror movies. But like the segments in this one weren't as good as the other ones. I mean, like there were ones that were just kind of boring, kind of weird, like kind of ones that make you go, huh? But I did like this one with like these skateboard guys, like basically like getting into fight like these zombies, like bashing them with their skateboards, and like basically like their blood splattering and whatnot. Yeah, so and also I do like the cameo from John Kassir, who played the Crypt Keeper. Yeah, so I think that's all I gotta say. And now this is the last movie, and this one actually just really breaks my heart that I can't put it on my good list, because this movie was kind of like, I really wanted to like this movie so much, but I mean, I didn't hate it though, and you probably already know what it is. It's Annabelle. I really, really wish I could put it on my best horror movies of 2014 list, but unfortunately, I mean, the movie wasn't really scary, and it sucks because like it's a prequel / spin-off to The Conjuring, which was the scariest movie of last year, as well as the best horror movie of last year, and James Wan's best movie. And I know like this movie wasn't directed by James Wan, but it was produced by him, as well as also done work by other people. Excuse me. As well as also done work by other people that did work on The Conjuring. Like the director of this movie, he directed Mortal Kombat Annihilation and the Butterfly Effect 2. I didn't like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, didn't see Butterfly Effect 2, nor did I even see the first one. But I heard that one was bad too, so it was like, he hasn't really done a good movie. But to be honest, it wasn't all his fault about this movie, because like I think maybe like the storytelling was like the problem. Because it suffered from the typical horror cliches, suffered from like, not being all scary. And also the actors weren't all that good either. Like there was times they were good, times they were bad. They weren't all that convincing. But this movie still had some pretty good cinematography, because the director is a professional cinematographer, and it managed to capture some of the atmosphere of The Conjuring. Some of it though. Although since this movie wasn't that scary, I didn't think it was really worthy for an R rating. It could have just been PG-13. And although this scene, this elevator scene was actually very well done, and it was actually like the creepiest scene in the movie. And and also It was also a very interesting story too, because it's like, basically all about like, the Annabelle doll from The Conjuring, how it got possessed. Although I think would have made a better story is like, since in the beginning of The Conjuring it was the doll was owned by like these nurses, maybe it would have been a better story if it was like their story of like what they went through with the doll. Maybe that would have been a better story. But I mean, it is what it is, though. So I didn't really like this movie, but I didn't really hate it either. So like, just wasn't worthy enough to make my list. And like, matter of fact, since I was like saying that that the elevator scene was very well done, and like matter of fact, like when you watch the trailer for this movie, almost all the scares in this movie were like spoiled through the trailer, and then like, and most of the scares were just jump scares. Like about maybe 95% of the scares were jump scares, which really sucked because like the scares in The Conjuring weren't just jump scares. It was all about like suspense and tension, and so like that elevator scene was like the scariest scene in the movie, and also like the demon that attached itself to the Annabelle doll, which they explained in The Conjuring and also explained in this movie, was revealed, and he's actually pretty creepy looking. Yes. So, yeah, so the movie is shot very well and managed to capture some of that atmosphere, but just wasn't all that scary. But like I said, I didn't hate this movie though, but didn't really like it either. It was okay. Alright, so I guess that really wraps up for this video, and so I'm just hoping 2015 is a better year for horror movies. There's already horror movies on my mind for that's coming out in 2015. Woman in Black 2, Sinister 2, Paranormal Activity, Ghost Dimensions. So I really look forward to seeing these horror movies and hoping that it's a better year. Okay. So, and have a Happy New Year, everybody. Bye.